Welcome back, everybody. You guys have sent in some really interesting articles about what's happening in the markets.
Yeah.
And things are getting kind of crazy out there.
Yeah, they are.
We've got Tesla's stock going through the roof, Bitcoin hitting these new highs, and then even AI, like, really shaking things up.
It is amazing how all these seemingly different trends are actually connected under the surface.
It really is.
Yeah.
So today we're going to unpack all of this stuff, try to understand what's driving these crazy market swings, and uncover those hidden risks and opportunities that you need to know about.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's kick things off with Tesla and Bitcoin.
Okay.
There's been a ton of talk about this Trump trade, this idea that their recent price surges are directly tied to the election results.
Yeah, you're right. That term has been thrown around a lot, and it's really fueled by this perception that the new administration might relax regulations and, implement policies that are favorable to electric vehicles and digital currencies.
Right. And we've got analysts like Dylan Ives from Wedbush making some pretty bold predictions.
Yeah.
He's saying Tesla could double in value and
Correct.
maybe even become a trillion-dollar company, a real AI powerhouse.
Yeah, Ives is definitely known for his, very bullish takes on Tesla. And his argument boils down to a few key points. First, he believes the new administration's policies are going to create this environment that is much more favorable for electric vehicles to be adopted.
So less red tape, more incentives, that kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. Less red tape, more incentives.
Got it.
He also thinks that Tesla's lead in AI technology is really going to give them a significant advantage in the self-driving car market. They've been collecting all this driving data for years, giving them this massive database to train their AI systems on.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like they've been quietly building this AI empire
Yeah.
while everybody else was focused on, traditional car manufacturing.
It's a great analogy. I like that. And Ives really thinks that this AI dominance is going to translate into them becoming a major player in other industries too,
Oh, wow.
not just cars. Think about ride-sharing, logistics, even robotics.
Wow. Okay, so he's painting this picture of Tesla as like this all-powerful tech giant.
Right.
But what about the specifics? Does he mention any concrete policy changes that could really move the needle for them?
He does, actually.
Okay.
One example that he highlights is the potential cancellation of electric vehicle subsidies.
Wait, wouldn't that hurt Tesla?
It might seem counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but Ives actually thinks that it could benefit them.
Interesting.
You see, most electric vehicle companies are still very reliant on those subsidies just to stay afloat. Tesla, on the other hand, they're already profitable and have strong cost advantage.
So they could kind of weather the storm better than their competitors?
Exactly. Losing those subsidies would likely force other companies to raise prices,
Oh,
making Tesla's cars even more competitive. And in fact, Ives estimates that Tesla could capture an additional 10% of the market if subsidies were eliminated.
wow, that's huge. But they say there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Right.
What are the potential downsides to this scenario?
Well, one risk is that the overall demand for electric vehicles could decline if prices go up across the board.
Right.
So even though Tesla might gain market share, they could still see a dip in sales if fewer people are buying electric cars overall.
So it's a little bit of a gamble then.
Yeah.
It's a bet on Tesla's ability to kind of outmaneuver the competition and come out on top.
Exactly. And we always need to remember that this is just one analyst's prediction.
Right.
The actual policy outcomes are still very uncertain, and there are so many other factors that could impact Tesla's future.
Of course, yeah, like the pace of technological advancements, consumer preferences, the overall economic climate. It's a complex equation with lots of moving parts.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to separate the hype from reality.
Yeah.
And focus on those long-term fundamentals when you're making investment decisions.
That's a great point. Now let's dive into the world of Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's been shattering records left and right,
It has.
even surpassing gold ETFs in some cases.
Yeah.
What is fueling this incredible rise?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, the Trump effect is definitely having an impact. This perceived shift towards a more, crypto-friendly regulatory environment has attracted a lot of institutional investors who were previously hesitant to enter the market.
It's funny how quickly things can change, right?
Yeah.
Just a few years ago, Bitcoin was seen as this fringe asset, and now we've got these major players like BlackRock jumping in head first.
That's pretty remarkable.
It is. And speaking of remarkable,
Yeah.
did you see that BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF actually outpaced their gold ETF in record time?
I did, yeah.
And then there's that UK pension fund, Carrot. advising their clients to allocate 3% to Bitcoin.
Wow.
This is serious money flowing into the crypto space.
It is, and it's a clear indication that Bitcoin is gaining mainstream acceptance.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it's not just the Trump bump driving this surge, right?
Right.
There are other factors at play, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
Well, Bitcoin has this well-documented 4-year cycle.
okay.
That's worth understanding. Every 4 years, the rate at which new Bitcoins are created
Uh-huh.
is cut in half. This event is known as the halving,
Okay.
and historically it has led to significant price increases.
So you're saying this current Bitcoin boom
Sure.
could just be part of this natural cycle?
That's one interpretation. Yeah. Think of it like a supply shock.
Okay.
When the supply of new Bitcoins is reduced, but the demand remains strong,
Yeah.
the price tends to go up.
Yeah.
And this halving event is programmed into Bitcoin's code, so it's not something that can be manipulated or changed.
That's interesting. It creates this level of predictability that you don't really see in traditional markets.
Right.
So we've got this 4-year cycle, the Trump effect, and what else?
We also have to consider the broader macroeconomic conditions.
Yeah.
The current low interest rate environment is pushing investors toward these alternative assets like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
With bond yields being so low, investors are looking for other ways to generate returns.
Makes sense. And then there's the growing global adoption of Bitcoin, right? More and more businesses are starting to accept it as payment,
Yeah,
and countries like El Salvador have even made it legal tender.
that's right. And this increasing adoption is fueling the demand for Bitcoin, contributing to its price appreciation.
Yeah.
It's becoming increasingly integrated into the global financial system.
But it's not all smooth sailing, right?
No.
There are still risks involved with investing in Bitcoin,
Absolutely.
especially with it being such a hot topic right now.
Bitcoin is inherently volatile, so deep corrections are always a possibility.
Got it.
Remember, this is still a relatively new asset class, and its price can swing wildly based on, new speculation and even tweets from influential figures.
So buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
And what about the Fed? How might their future monetary policy impact Bitcoin?
That's a big question mark.
Big.
If the Fed starts raising interest rates aggressively, it could make these riskier assets like Bitcoin less attractive.
I see.
Investors might shift their money back into more traditional assets like bonds.
So you're saying it's important to keep an eye on the Fed's moves and be prepared for potential volatility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, investing in Bitcoin is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
It's important to do your research, understand the risks, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Great advice. All right, so we've covered Tesla,
Okay.
Bitcoin,
Oh,
two
yeah.
investments that are definitely generating a lot of buzz right now.
For sure.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about another development that could have a major impact on the markets, the race for the next Treasury Secretary.
Okay.
This is a decision that I think investors should be watching very, very closely.
Absolutely. The Treasury Secretary plays a crucial role in shaping economic policy, and their actions can have ripple effects across various markets.
Right. And it seems like Scott Bessant, a former Soros fund manager, is emerging as a frontrunner for the position.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Bessant's name has been circulating in the news quite a bit.
Alright.
He's known for his deep understanding of financial markets
Mm-hmm.
and his alignment with the new administration's economic policies,
Yeah.
particularly when it comes to tariffs.
Speaking of tariffs, can you remind us what Bessant's stance is on that issue? It was a hot topic during the campaign,
Yeah, it was.
and it seems like it could have some pretty significant implications for businesses and consumers.
Absolutely. Bessant has advocated for a more strategic approach to tariffs
Okay.
compared to the previous administration's policies. He's suggested phased implementation to kind of minimize any potential inflationary impact
I see.
and to give businesses time to adjust.
So a more measured approach rather than these sweeping changes.
Exactly. Bessant seems to understand that tariffs can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
While they can protect domestic industries,
Right.
they can also lead to higher prices for consumers and retaliatory measures from other countries.
It's a delicate balancing act for sure. Now here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Bessant has proposed this intriguing idea of a shadow Fed chair.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that means and why
Sure.
it's causing such a stir?
A shadow Fed chair would essentially be an individual appointed by the Treasury Secretary to provide guidance and oversight
Okay.
on the Federal Reserve's monetary policy decisions.
I see.
This person wouldn't actually participate in the Fed's meetings or have voting power,
Right.
but they would offer an external perspective
Right.
and potentially influence the direction of monetary policy.
So a sort of advisor or watchdog role, but one with potentially significant influence.
Precisely.
Yes.
And the idea has sparked a lot of debate
I bet.
because it raises questions about the Fed's independence.
Yeah.
Traditionally, the Fed has operated independently from political influence, setting interest rates and controlling the money supply based on economic data and its own assessment of the situation.
So Besson's proposal could blur the lines between fiscal and monetary policy.
And that's one concern. Critics argue that having a shadow Fed chair
Yeah.
could politicize the Fed's decision-making process and potentially undermine its credibility.
Right.
Others, however, believe that more oversight and coordination between the Treasury and the Fed could actually lead to better economic outcomes.
It sounds like there are valid arguments on both sides.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out if Besant does indeed become Treasury Secretary.
Definitely. This is a development worth keeping a close eye on.
Yeah.
The implications for the markets and the economy as a whole could be significant.
All right, so we've talked about Tesla,
Yeah.
Bitcoin, and the potential changes coming to the Treasury Department.
Right.
Now let's shift gears again and talk about a topic that's been generating a lot of headlines and sparking some serious anxieties. The rise of artificial intelligence.
Oh, yeah. AI is definitely one of the most transformative technologies of our time, and its impact is being felt across various industries.
Yeah.
We're seeing incredible advancements in areas like machine learning, natural language processing, and robotics, and these advancements are creating both opportunities and challenges.
And speaking of challenges, let's talk about the cautionary tale of Chegg,
Okay.
the online education platform that experienced a staggering 99% drop in its stock price.
Oh, wow.
That's practically unheard of.
Yeah, it
What
is.
happened there?
Chegg's downfall is a prime example of how quickly a company can become obsolete
Yeah.
if it fails to adapt to the rapidly evolving technological landscape.
Right.
They built their business model on providing human-generated content like study guides, textbook solutions, and expert help.
So they were essentially a digital tutor connecting students with subject matter experts.
Exactly. But their model was disrupted by the emergence of these free AI tools like ChatGPT, which can provide similar services without the need for human intervention.
Yeah.
ChatGPT can generate text, answer questions, even write code, all with remarkable accuracy and speed.
And it's available 24/7, doesn't take breaks, and doesn't demand a salary.
Right.
It's no wonder students flock to these free AI tools.
Exactly. And there's this almost unbelievable anecdote about how Chegg initially dismissed the threat posed by AI.
Really?
They reportedly rejected the idea of developing their own AI tool,
Wow.
thinking that their existing model was sufficient.
Talk about a missed opportunity. It's like Blockbuster refusing to adapt to the rise of streaming
Oh,
services.
yeah, right?
They had a chance to innovate and stay ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
but they totally underestimated the power of AI.
It's a classic case of disruption. Chegg's story highlights the importance of agility and adaptability in today's business world.
Yeah.
Companies need to constantly reassess their strategies and embrace new technologies to stay competitive.
It's a stark reminder that no industry is immune to disruption. If a company like Chegg, which was at the forefront of online education,
Yeah.
can be brought down by AI,
Mhm.
it makes you wonder what other industries might be vulnerable.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And it's not just about individual companies.
Right.
We need to think about entire sectors that might be ripe for disruption.
Okay, so how do we even begin to wrap our heads around this? Where do we start?
One approach is to look for industries that rely heavily on tasks that AI could potentially automate.
Okay.
Think about jobs that involve repetitive processes, data analysis, content creation, even customer service.
So areas where humans are essentially acting like robots,
Right.
following a set of instructions or performing tasks that can be easily replicated by algorithms.
Exactly. Those are the areas where AI is already making significant inroads. Think about Chegg again. They relied on humans to provide answers and explanations.
Yeah.
Now, AI can do that faster, cheaper, and arguably even better in some cases.
So what you're saying is that any business that relies on a human doing a task that can be replicated by a computer program should be looking over its shoulder.
In a sense, yes. But it's not just about replacement.
Okay.
It's also about augmentation. How can businesses leverage AI to enhance their existing processes and create new value?
That's a good point. It's not necessarily about humans versus machines, but about finding ways for them to work together.
Precisely. The companies that will thrive in this new era
Yeah.
are those that embrace AI as a tool to empower their workforce, not replace it.
All right, so we've got these big picture trends, the rise of AI, the shifting political landscape, and how these forces are impacting companies like Tesla and Chegg.
Right.
But what does this all mean for us as investors?
That's the key question, right? It
Yeah.
means we need to be more discerning than ever.
Uh-huh.
We can't just rely on traditional metrics or past performance.
Okay.
We need to understand the underlying technology, the competitive landscape,
Yeah.
and how these companies are positioning themselves for the future.
So it's not just about picking stocks, it's about understanding the bigger picture, seeing the forest for the trees.
Exactly.
Hmm.
We need to develop a framework for evaluating investments in this rapidly changing world.
Okay.
And that framework needs to account for both the risks and the opportunities that these new technologies present.
Can you give us some concrete examples? Like, what are some specific questions we should be asking when we're looking at a potential investment?
Certainly. First and foremost, we need to assess the company's exposure to AI.
Okay.
Is AI a core part of their business model?
Uh-huh.
Are they using AI to enhance their operations or
Yeah.
create new products and services?
Okay, so we're looking for companies that are actively leveraging AI. What else?
We need to consider the competitive landscape.
Okay.
Are there other players in the space who are also using AI?
Right.
How does this company differentiate itself? What's their unique value proposition?
So even if a company is using AI, it doesn't guarantee success. They need to have a competitive edge.
Precisely. And finally, we need to look at the management team.
Okay.
Do they have a clear vision for the future?
Yeah.
Are they adapting to the changing technological landscape?
Mhm.
Are they making the right investments?
So it's not just about the technology, it's about the people behind it.
Exactly. Investing in a company is ultimately an act of faith in its leadership.
Uh-huh.
We need to be confident that they have the skills and vision to navigate the complexities of this new era.
This is all really helpful,
Good.
but I have to admit it's a lot to process. It feels like the rules of the game are changing so fast.
I understand. It can feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
But remember, with change comes opportunity.
Yeah.
By staying informed, asking the right questions, and developing a sound investment framework, we can not only survive, but thrive in this exciting new world.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential impact of AI on businesses,
Right.
but we haven't really touched on the potential societal impact. I mean, if AI is automating jobs, what does that mean for the workforce?
That's a crucial question,
Yeah.
and one that deserves its own deep dive. But in short, it's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Okay.
Some experts believe that AI will create more jobs than it destroys,
Mm-hmm.
while others are more pessimistic.
So there's no clear consensus.
Not yet. But what we can say for sure
Yeah.
is that AI will fundamentally change the nature of work. We'll need to adapt, retrain, and develop new skills to stay relevant.
So it's not just businesses that need to adapt, it's all of us.
Precisely.
Yeah.
This is a societal challenge that we need to address collectively.
Yeah.
We need to think about education training and social safety nets
Mm-hmm.
to ensure that everyone can benefit from these technological advancements.
It seems like every time we peel back a layer of this AI onion,
Right,
we find another layer underneath. It's
Yeah.
fascinating, but also a little daunting.
I agree. It's a topic that demands our attention and careful consideration. We need to approach AI with both a sense of wonder and a healthy dose of caution.
Well said. I'm getting the sense that this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to explore here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface of this whole AI revolution
Yeah.
and its potential impact, I mean, not just on businesses, but on the economy
Mm-hmm.
and our daily lives.
And that's the thing about AI. It's evolving so rapidly
Right.
that it's almost impossible to predict where it's going to take us,
Yeah.
in the next 5 or 10 years. But that's also what makes it so exciting.
It's like we're standing on the edge of this new frontier,
Yeah.
full of possibilities and uncharted territory.
Exactly. It's like the early days of the internet when nobody could have imagined how
Yeah.
it would transform the world. We're witnessing a similar technological leap
Uh-huh.
with AI, and it's up to us to kind of shape its development and make sure that it's used for good.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have
We started with Tesla and Bitcoin.
explored the potential impact of AI on businesses like Chegg and even touched on the broader societal implications of all these technological shifts. It's a lot to take in.
It is. And I think what's important to remember is that we're all still figuring this out.
Yeah.
There's no roadmap for how to navigate this new terrain.
Right.
We're writing the rules as we go.
So how do we even make sense of it all? What's the takeaway for our listeners who are trying to stay ahead of the curve?
I would say the key takeaway is this. Be curious,
Mm.
be adaptable,
Okay.
and be prepared to challenge your assumptions.
Yeah.
The world is changing faster than ever before,
Yeah.
and the only way to stay ahead is to be constantly learning and evolving.
That sounds like good advice for life in general, not just investing.
Absolutely. The skills we need to thrive in this new era are not just financial or technological,
Mm.
they're also about mindset. We need to be open to new ideas,
Yeah.
willing to experiment and comfortable with uncertainty.
So it's not just about picking the right stocks. It's about
Right.
developing the right mindset.
Precisely. It's about embracing this growth mindset,
Okay.
being willing to learn from your mistakes,
Yeah.
and constantly seeking out new knowledge and perspectives.
You know, that reminds me of something we were talking about earlier, how AI is disrupting industries
Yeah.
that rely on tasks that can be automated.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you wonder what skills will be most valuable
Right,
in
right.
this AI-powered future.
That's a great question.
Hmm?
And there's no easy answer, but I think skills like critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
creativity, and emotional intelligence will become even more important.
Okay.
These are skills that are difficult for AI to replicate and that will be essential for navigating a world where machines are taking over more of those routine tasks.
So we need to focus on developing those uniquely human
Yeah.
skills that set us apart from machines.
Exactly. And we also need to be lifelong learners, constantly adapting our skills and knowledge to keep pace with the advancements in technology.
It's like that saying, the only constant is change. It's
Yeah.
never been more true than in today's world.
And speaking of change,
Hmm.
I think it's important to acknowledge that AI is not a monolithic force.
Right.
There are many different types of AI,
Yeah.
and they're being developed and applied in a wide range of ways.
Okay.
Some AI applications are designed to augment human capabilities, while others are aimed at automating tasks entirely.
Got it.
It's crucial to understand the nuances of AI and its potential impact on different industries and sectors.
That's a really important point. We can't just lump all AI together.
Yeah.
There's a spectrum of applications and implications, and we need to be discerning about how we approach this technology.
Absolutely. And we also need to be mindful of the ethical considerations surrounding AI development.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more powerful and pervasive,
Mm.
we need to ensure that it's used responsibly and in a way that benefits humanity as a whole.
It's like we're holding this incredibly powerful tool,
Right.
and it's up to us to use it wisely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to have thoughtful conversations about the potential risks and rewards of AI. And we need to work together to create a future where AI empowers us, not displaces us.
Well said. I think this deep dive has given our listeners a lot to think about.
Yeah, I hope so.
We've explored the exciting possibilities and the potential challenges of this AI-powered world, and we've emphasized the importance of staying informed, adaptable, and ethically minded as we navigate this new landscape.
And I hope it sparked a sense of curiosity
Yeah,
and a desire to learn more about this incredible technology that's shaping our future.
me too. This is really just the beginning of the conversation,
Yeah, it is.
and I'm sure we'll be revisiting this topic again and again
Oh, yeah, for sure.
as AI continues to evolve and impact our lives.
Absolutely.
Phew.
The future of AI is being written right now,
Yeah,
and we all have a role to play in shaping it.
that's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure. Until next time.